Welcome back to another episode of What Are We Watching? It's did the thing with the microphone again.
No, I didn't do what I usually do. I usually do this.
Yeah, he's usually like, bah! All right, we got so we have a special episode today. We are joined by our friend Jack. Welcome. Say
hey
hi
guys.
to the people. Hey!
Jack's
What's up,
in the
guys?
house.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah. So, tell us about yourself. What got you into movies? Is that what we agreed on we were going to talk about first?
I fucking guess so. All right. Anyways, this is
We
my.
don't edit anything.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
This is my buddy Jack. We went to high school together, and then recently, our buddy Sean and Bones they've been doing these movie nights. I'll let you talk about that. But I basically started watching movies again with Jack. We would do like video calls, some in-person ones, but like video calls that they would do starting in the COVID times. So we kind of got like to hanging out again.
Yeah.
Because we have, life gets busy. We moved different areas, but
Yeah.
so we've been hanging out, watching tons of movies, texting about movies. Normal things
The
to do as
usual.
an adult male.
Yeah.
Talk about war.
So yeah, me and Keith went to high school together. We we hung out in high school, but then kind of drifted apart after a while. But then just different schools and everything. And now we've reconnected through movies, and it's awesome. Like, so growing up, I was a huge movie guy.
Yeah.
Or
some of like the hits that you used to watch. Because I know our first
Yeah.
episode we talked about the Batman was one for you.
Well,
We talked about.
Huge one for me was Beetlejuice. I watched that all the time. My dad taped it actually.
Nice.
And so I'd be like, yo, put Beetlejuice on. So I watched that all the time. But as I got older, like more movies like Pulp Fiction and Predator, stuff like that. When I started getting into those, I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, this is great. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be on. I've been listening to your show. It's awesome. So
Nice. Yeah, we're happy to have you. So you picked this movie.
Yes.
This was your. So
Yeah.
do you want to introduce what the movie we're going to be watching?
Yeah,
Covering?
so this is in my top 5 actually. Great movie. Point Break.
Nice.
So yeah, Swayze and Keanu Reeves, and yeah, it's a great movie. I figured it was a good one to cover.
Very, very quotable. I feel like there's
yeah.
so many like one-off dude
Yeah.
lines in this movie that are awesome. Yeah. Well, welcome.
Yeah,
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
I can't believe you're going to be replacing Keith. That's so wild.
I know.
Yeah. So everyone, this is Keith's farewell.
I can't fucking wait.
Yeah.
I would actually like to listen to this podcast if I wasn't on it. This would be my favorite podcast if I wasn't
Yeah.
on it.
If you weren't on it.
Yeah. I hate hearing my voice.
I hate this.
I don't even know
show.
why anyone
It's,
talks to me.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah,
you should
I doubt it a
You see
lot,
me come
too.
to the hallway, just stiff arm me. Oh, no, don't open that mouth. Whatever's about to fall out of that wretched mouth is
It's gonna
something
be
I
no
don't
good.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Jackson Man, he's a movie guy.
Yeah.
I thought you said Jack's the man.
Yeah, what do you think I said?
I thought you said Jack's a man. I was like,
I am
what are
also
some
a man.
what
He
are
is a
some
man.
other
He
facts?
is.
about
No, he's the
him?
man, and
Yeah.
he's got an affinity for my boy Leonardo DiCaprio. That's his guy.
Yeah,
Nice.
I
I just want to throw out
Yeah,
there.
dude.
He
We all
didn't
love
say
Leo.
it, but he loves Leo.
He's the greatest of all time. I
Oh, 1,000%. So
So
yeah, should we?
Who would you say your favorite director is if you had to pick a favorite director?
Ooh.
I know I
That's
probably
tough.
should have pre
No,
sorted
that's
that.
all
right.
I
question for you.
mean,
Do you have a social security number and bank that you go to?
yeah,
Just
it's
just if we're firing off questions. What
No,
else
I
do you
mean,
have?
favorite director. I mean, it's hard to beat Tarantino. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just like Pulp Fiction is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's up there. Scorsese's obviously up there.
Scorsese. We had a whole thing about the pronunciation of
Yeah.
Scorsese. But yeah, I feel like Pulp Fiction was one of those movies that's like, that was one of the early ones that I watched, and I was like, oh shit, like you can do some cool stuff with script writing and then the soundtrack and everything
Yeah.
like that. So
First time I saw that, I was like blown away. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa,
it is very
this is
good. one.
awesome.
But yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Should we dive into it? Would you guys?
Yeah,
do you have
well,
anything else that you want to
I
talk
thought
about?
we got to do our what do we watch segment.
What
It's
the
my
hell are you
favorite
talking
part.
about? Oh, what did you watch?
That's my favorite part.
Great. Keith, lead us into it then. It's your favorite part all of a sudden out of nowhere. It's your last episode.
What's funny is I forgot what movies I was going to say. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so what did you...
no, I also watched... So because we were watching Swayze, I also watched Roadhouse.
Which don't hurt.
I hadn't seen since I was a lot younger.
Yeah.
God, that movie fucks. I want to watch it again.
That's one of my dad's like all-time
Dude,
favorite
it's
movies.
so good. And it's like not, I guess, quote-unquote, a good movie. Like, it's a Razzie recipient. I don't know if it's at least nominated.
Yeah.
It
was a contender.
It's like one of the worst quote-unquote movies of all time. But, dude, I fucking love it. It's awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. Swayze just fucking guys up the whole time.
So would you guys lead me down this path? You're leading me. Would you say that Patrick Swayze is like a sexier Kurt Russell? Like he's like Kurt Russell, like knock around, kill them all kind of guy, but he's just quieter. Well, they're both quiet, but he's just like. If you just turned up like the if you just turned up the sexometer like 4 notches, and you're like, damn, what's up?
How many notches are
like?
there?
I want to go watch Dirty Dancing again now. I'm
yeah.
Like, yeah, he can.
I feel like I gotta go cool off.
He can definitely
Dirty Dance.
He can do the Dirty Dance and pick me up thing. That's cool with me.
I need a cold shower.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I was like, dude, he's kind of like Kurt Russell, just like instead of being more of just like smoking cigarettes and like doesn't care what women want.
I think it was just the types of movies that he played in too. Every movie that what's his name played in is he's just like a dude. In this one, he's like, I mean, in his character in Point Break, he's like, we are the ocean. You're like, hell yeah, brother.
It's like real spiritual.
Saying, he's more delicate.
He's got what women want.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is that it? All right, you know what? Trash it. I guess this is where. Do you want me to leave early?
Oh, I haven't been recording any of this. This
okay,
is
cool.
all being thrown in the garbage.
All right, so when we start again, I won't say any of that.
I won't.
All right, so this is directed by. Are we just getting into it? We're talking 2015 Point Break, right? We're not talking about that original piece of shit.
That's what I watched.
What did you actually watch the first one?
I watched the first one.
Oh my god! No, you're dead.
I did. I swear to God.
Is the plot similar enough?
Yeah.
No.
Oh fuck, dude.
You
and Jack watched the new one, dude. You actually watched the Swayze?
I watched the Swayze one,
dude. They remade it because it was so bad.
Oh yeah, because you were just like, oh, let's talk about Patrick Swayze and my love for Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, that was my original bit. I called Jack yesterday and said, "Yo,
you guys."
I know.
Yeah,
he called me.
Fucked it up already.
I was like, I can't do it.
He said he can't do it, and he fucked it up. He said Swayze earlier, and then I was like, oh, we already fucked this.
Yeah, you already got it.
Sean, my buddy Sean, the one that he won the raffle, I told him last night that we were doing it. He's like, dude, I can't wait. I was crying when you were texting me that. I was like, yeah, I just can't wait to look Nick dead in the eye.
That. When Nick's gonna be like, earlier, we were like, oh yeah, you watched it 2015. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Come on.
And Nick's gonna be looking. He's gonna be like a fucking squirrel in traffic. His eyes are gonna get huge. Like, oh, this is the end of my life. He's like, oh fuck, did I really fuck up?
It's the end of my life.
Anyways, so we watched.
I would just lie and be like, "Oh no, you're right, I did."
Okay, enough. No, I'm sorry, dude. I fucking derailed this.
No, it's fine.
Well, we did watch the original. Everyone watched the original, right? Yep. Put your right hand up and solemnly swear that you watched the original. All right, cool. Nice. That's 3 hands up. Okay, so
for the listeners,
and all our viewers. So this is directed by the great Catherine Bigelow, who was at one time married to the great James Cameron. So I thought you were going
to say Deuce Bigelow.
This is her third. Oh, you guys didn't talk about what you watched this week.
Oh.
I watched this.
You watched this? Did you want to add anything? Or do you want to? I
almost watched Perfect Blue.
That's right.
But then I didn't. Because
that's a Blake special. Blake told you to watch that.
Yeah,
that's a good. That would have probably ruined your night after this.
I'm trying to finish up Band of Brothers. I just got to get through it. The war rages on in my living room with my dog. Yeah.
I did watch 2 other things other than this. So actually on Saturday night, me and a couple of my buddies went to the Colonial in Phoenixville, and we saw...
Shout out the Colonial, that place is awesome.
Yeah, we saw Batman 89, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah, you're telling me, what is it? It was like National Batman Day or something?
Yeah, so the movie didn't start till like 9:45.
That's late.
Yeah, but it was like, when you got in there, like Nicholson hit the screen, Keaton, you were like, oh man, this was awesome.
Yeah.
So we went and saw that. That was really fun. And then me and my buddy Sean watched this movie called Deadly Friend. It's a Wes Craven movie.
Okay. I haven't seen that one, no.
I'm telling you, it's a crazy story, and there's some crazy kills in that movie. But it was pretty good. I mean, I would say I mean, obviously Batman's a watch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Deadly Friend, I'd watch that too. But
yeah. Do you watch a lot of like Keith? He's like he'll come in the next day and be like, yeah, so I watched 43 movies last night. Do you watch a lot? Like, do you watch a lot of movies?
I do watch a lot of movies. Like we do movie nights. Like try to do them weekly.
Yeah.
So we'll do like Thursday night movie nights or something. You know, but like sometimes it gets derailed depending on what sports are on or what I have going on. But like, other than that, but I watch a lot of movies. I mean, I love just getting hunkered down and watching movies. It's like
that feeling of like watching. I like especially with something you've never seen before. You're like, all right, let's fucking go.
And I usually will watch like new stuff, like,
yeah,
or like stuff on suggestions. So, but
I'll
that's
have to
what I
remember
watched.
that second one that you watched. But you say that's a watch? Both of them are watches?
Yeah, both
Keith,
of them are watch, yeah.
What do you got?
I got one more.
And
I'm bringing this up because me and Jack watched an old Mickey Rourke movie recently.
Nice.
Called Angel Heart. I wouldn't recommend that to the faint of heart. Well, I just wouldn't recommend it to many people. I think we both would say that we enjoyed that we saw it, but we don't need to rewatch it.
It's something that you can say like I've seen it, but like I'm not going to run.
I will not watch
I have
it.
to watch this again.
There's one scene in the movie that makes it, I guess, NC-17 or X-rated.
Yeah.
At the time, it was like because of how old it's like 80 something.
Yeah.
And it's just the most wild 2 minutes. Like I was like, did we just see that? But the rest of the movie's just kind of like gray. It's like fine. It's like, Robert De Niro's in it.
It's
like
Rourke and De Niro.
De Niro plays like a devil.
What year is that?
I think it's 89 maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
But anyways, I watched The Year of the Dragon, which also stars a young Mickey Rourke, and it's just
you
basically
through a Mickey Rourke phase.
I just we had just watched that a little while ago, a couple months ago.
Gotcha.
And it's like the same era Rourke, and this one I would say is a watch.
Yeah,
it's just like a, I don't even know how to describe it. Just like a triads in Chinatown, New York.
Yeah,
Mickey Rourke has the Desert Eagle. It's just fucking violent. It's wild. The story. It's probably one of those movies that's not a good movie. Like someone's gonna say, "Oh, that movie's not a good movie." But I don't really care about that anymore because, like, let me ask you one question: were you entertained? That's what I always say. Mickey Rourke.
I think you actually were the first person to ever
kills
say
in
that.
it, and I found out it's actually the first time a Desert Eagle handgun was used in the filming of a.
Really?
And he fucking blows heads off with this thing. It's
Left
wild.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Not even on screen. Yeah.
There's
I did want to see that.
It's good. I say that's definitely a Jack.
Angel Heart was 87.
87?
Yeah.
And The Year of the Dragon was 85, I think it was.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's like that era of Rourke. Because we were talking about that too. There's like Mickey Rourke. Then there's like Mickey Rourke Weathered. He has like two completely different eras of movies.
Yeah.
And they're both awesome. Like The Wrestler, Sin City, like that. Where he looks like you wouldn't even recognize Mickey Rourke.
Looks like a bloated corpse.
I mean, not far off. Anyways, I have derailed. So this is Catherine Bigelow's Point Break, 1991. Excellent movie. And we're going to go to Jack for the cast.
Okay. Yeah, so the cast of this movie is awesome. It's Keanu Reeves plays Johnny Utah.
Nice.
Patrick Swayze plays Bodie. Gary Busey's in it playing Pappas.
He's a maniac, just in general.
I know
his face.
I know he's not top billed there too, but he fucking destroys me in this movie.
Oh, I know. Lori Petty plays Tyler. She was also in Free Willy.
She was.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you seen Tank Girl?
No.
Are you familiar with that? She plays Tank Girl, and then Olivia, my girl, immediately recognized her from Orange Is the New Black. It was like, oh yeah, don't you know who it is? And I'm like, fucking, I don't know.
And another notable is John C. McGinley plays Harp, who
he's just like fired up the whole movie.
God. He's awesome. 2
seconds away from a heart attack every moment.
He's always pissed off in the movie. But he's great. Like he's one of those actors that like he's never the star, but when he's in it, he commands the screen.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main people. Anthony Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers is in it, the lead singer. And Tom Sizemore is in it.
I was going to say, you got to Sizemore.
So
that's the main uncredited.
Cast.
Yeah, he's only in it for about 40 seconds.
He's like the dude. He's undercover.
Yeah,
in that, right? Yeah,
but it's a great scene.
He's awesome as well.
And this is like earlier on when he was still doing like really small roles.
Yeah. Because I guess we said this was 91. So, so I see the budget for this movie was 24 million, and in the box office it made 103.5 million. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that
this
is good.
This movie is a lot longer than I thought.
It's a solid.
For some reason, I think this movie's like, I'm like, yeah, this is a 25-minute movie, easy. 122 minutes is what is listed here.
But it doesn't feel like 2 full hours.
No.
You watch it, it's just like
I know.
It's just chaos.
Because there's like, it's nonstop action.
It's like
from
the Dark Knight.
beginning to end.
Well, you mentioned like Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
It's like the same exact thing of you're just like every second
is.
you're like, what the hell's happening?
Dude,
It's
it
incredible.
really is.
So did you guys have any notes before we dive into the cast? I can kick us off if we're ready for it.
No, I mean, I have a couple things, but I'll probably wait till the end to do those.
You can just interrupt too.
go
That's
through,
totally
yeah.
fine.
Is look him dead in the face and tell him to shut the fuck up.
Just
That's what I do. Just spit in the back of his hair.
so dumb.
All right, maybe don't do that.
So this is a fun fact. Johnny Utah, there was a Philly musician named Johnny Utah, and do you know the guy Johnny? Now he has that song like Honey Pie and stuff like that. Does that sound familiar?
I think so, yeah.
He was
Johnny.
Johnny, yeah, JAWN.
Oh, that makes me want to leave the earth early.
I was friends with his. He lived next to this guy Johnny Utah, and he used to play house shows. And I was like, "That's a fucking awesome name." And now he's like super famous, and I'm like, "Oh fuck,
That's
all
crazy."
But he got They basically told him he had to change his name because of this movie. They were like,
really?
"Yeah, dude, you can't use Johnny Utah. That's like people are gonna get mad about that." That's like my one fun fact I'm ever gonna have.
So wait, did he change it to Johnny?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually all right then.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it now. That's actually pretty.
Why
funny.
didn't? But if it was the other way, you'd be like, that guy can go
dude.
fuck himself three times till Thursday.
It's a Philadelphia thing, okay?
Yeah. Hey, he was gonna call himself Hoagie Cheesesteak, but he told him not to do that.
All right.
Anyway, all right. Let's get into the plot. So we start off. Former Ohio State quarterback and rookie FBI agent Johnny Utah is assisting an experienced agent Angelo. I guess what's his name? Pappas. Investigate a string of bank robberies by who they're calling like the ex-presidents. So this is the first scene you're introduced to who the cast is. It's Keanu Reeves. I think this is McGinley is you're introduced to McGinley and Gary Busey like right away.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, it starts with the montages.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And something that I like. I know you said, Nick, before you like to see first quote, last quote.
Yeah, first line, last line.
So something I like to look at when I watch movies is top billing. Who gets top billing, especially in a movie with a lot of stars in it.
Yeah.
Because I want to see who
made them real money.
Yeah. And this is actually a rare one because it's the double top billing.
Really?
It's Keanu and Patrick Swayze. They come in at the same time.
That's powerful.
Which is cool because like they
do you
usually
think they
don't do that.
over that. You think they were like, nah, dude.
I don't know, but
We're doing
Swayze.
this together, bro.
But I was kind of surprised because Swayze was a lot bigger than Keanu.
Oh yeah.
At
Yeah,
that
this
time.
is like really early.
So
for
I think
This
Keanu,
was 2 years after Roadhouse, so he was like,
He was killing it.
Yeah.
These were good days for Patrick Swayze.
yeah.
So it's Reeves and then Swayze. So I'm wondering if like instead of like picking an order, they put it in alphabetical at the same. Like I don't know.
Oh,
You know what I
maybe.
mean? Like,
But
because
they-
Keanu was like,
I like to think that they were both like, nah, dude, you
But
be the first. And
Keanu was kind of like unknown, like, and actually they didn't want to have Keanu. The studio. This is one of the facts I got. The studio said they didn't want to make the movie unless it was Johnny Depp.
that would have been.
And Catherine Bigelow said, "No, I want Keanu Reeves," and she fought for it and got him. But like Swayze did Roadhouse, and then he did Ghost, and then he did this. So he was like huge.
He was untouchable.
and he had Red Dawn as well before that.
Yeah.
But I guess
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, what did Keanu do before
he had Bill
this
and
one?
Ted's and Parenthood. That's like everything before
Yeah.
that. I've never even heard of.
I mean, Bill and Ted's was huge.
Yeah.
that was
That
big.
was
And
big.
then I think,
That was really big.
and Parenthood. That's with Steve Martin. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he's a
yeah.
smaller.
Yeah.
That's wild. Was there anyone else that they did you find anyone else that they like considered for the roles?
Yeah. They actually, a couple people auditioned for the role of Utah.
from Mr. Utah.
Matthew Broderick was actually offered the role of Johnny Utah, and he didn't take it.
I just picture him doing like his Ferris, like look at the camera,
Yeah.
like in the middle of it, like.
And then others that auditioned were Johnny Depp, Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, and Val Kilmer.
I actually think Charlie Sheen would have done like a half decent job.
Yeah, because you need someone that's like a little rough.
Yeah,
like
little
Matthew
bad.
Broderick's like, excuse me.
He's like,
Yeah, like, I
can you teach
couldn't
me how
do
to
that, yeah.
surf? Because I'm going undercover.
But yeah, I mean, I
He's
like
like the partner in My Blue Heaven.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like trying to get Rick Moranis to be the undercover surfer.
He's like, yeah, cowabunga, dude.
He's got his fucking swim trunks up to his nipples.
Throw a fucking egg at him.
but yeah, it's the movie starts with the montages of Johnny Utah's training.
Yeah, the
And
shooting.
it's like in the
montage.
rain,
That's right.
so
and he's
good.
like shooting, and then it flashes to Patrick Swayze surfing.
Yeah.
and it's like it just keeps
It's like
going
origin
back and
story.
forth. Yeah, back and forth. And then after that is when they go into the police department when Keanu Reeves is coming in.
Yeah,
And
they're kind of
McGinley's-
catching him up to speed.
Yeah, McGinley's like talking to him and telling him like, I like my agents to be in great cardiovascular shape. And I had a great quote because then Johnny Utah goes, "Sir, I take the skin off chicken."
Dude,
And
that's
then-
so aggressive.
Yeah, but then he starts eating. He's like talking to him more, and
Yeah.
he's like trying to get under his skin, so he puts a donut in his mouth, and he's like,
geez.
Oh, I love these things.
Yeah, I love these things. Yeah, and then this is maybe one of the best quotes of the movie. He goes, "You're a real Blue Flame special, aren't you,
Yeah.
son?" He's like, "Young, dumb, full of cum."
Dude, that fucking sends
Yeah.
me. That's like the one quote that I was like, that has to be in this.
2 seconds in, too. He's
Young,
already
dumb, and
fired
full
off.
of cum. It fucking destroys me every time.
And that's McGinley that says that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this was, I was telling Keith this. I don't know what version I fucking watched.
Oh yeah, this is my
I
favorite.
could only find one that was free with ads and it
Okay.
was censored.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like, I just couldn't find it anywhere else. But
Yeah.
that was the only line, like, kind of borderline line that was like made it in, and I was like,
Wow.
all right, that's kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many scenes where it's just like they don't even try and bleep it out. They just cut all audio from the thing. It's
Yeah,
just
so he
pretty
watched
wild.
he watched a really funny version of this.
Yeah,
He watched like
wild.
a TBS special.
It was like someone's getting shot.
But
So yeah, so back to the plot. I guess so. They're they called kind of like the ex-presidents. It's
Yeah.
the gang of robbers who he's, I guess, tasked with trying to find. So it's a string of robbers who wear the rubber masks of the former presidents. You have Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, Nixon, and Lyndon B. Johnson. So there's 4 guys. So rather than robbing the vault, though, he kind of notices that they only go to the drawers. So they're gone in like 90 seconds. This is kind of like leading up to this whole idea that like, oh shit, I think he has a line early on. He's like, these guys are pros, dude.
yeah,
Like,
he's like,
so-
look at they're surgical.
They're
It's
surgical.
like, look at them dissected dye
Yeah.
packs or something, and they're like they're throwing them.
Yeah, they're just totally over it.
And they've done like they show a bank robber scene
Yeah,
pretty quick.
yeah.
Like after
2 seconds in.
after he meets Pappas for the first time.
Yeah.
Then they throw in the bank robbery scene, which is awesome. And then they're talking about it, and they're like they've hit 27 banks in 3 years.
That's
never been caught.
that's a lot of
Never go
banks.
to the vault. Like
That's 27 more banks than I think I could do. If you had to rob
I'd
a
be
bank,
caught the first time.
oh yeah, I'd go in, be like, "Hey, hands up!" Be like, "I get this guy out of here."
Your voice cracked?
Be like, "Shut
Give
up!"
me your fucking gun. Your voice cracked. You can't shoot that.
So they basically this is his the whole reason for him being in the FBI. This is like his big case. So
Yep.
Pappas has a theory. Am I saying his last name right?
Pappas.
It's like,
Pappas.
I think it's-
I keep
yeah,
saying
it's it might be Pappas.
Pappas.
I think it's Pappas. He says Pappas, right? And
All right,
then
I'll
he's
say
like,
Pappas now.
Punk.
Yeah, sure.
Quarterback punk. Yeah, that's what he says, I think.
Sure.
Pappas.
Yeah, Pappas. So Pappas has this theory. He's kind of like an old timer around the office. He has this theory that the criminals are surfers. He basically has this whole mindset of like, look, man, the summer's coming to an end. Like Gary Busey is just unreal in this movie.
Oh yeah.
So he has a theory that the criminals are all surfers, and Johnny Utah being this big, I think he calls him like a jock a bunch of times. He basically has the idea that Johnny Utah is going to go undercover to infiltrate like this like this, I don't even know what the hell. It's just like this weird spiritual surfing community.
Yeah.
And there's like a great scene when he brings him up to, he basically brings him up to the surf, and he's like, they speak their own language out there. He's like, just like,
yeah, he's like, you can't just walk up to those guys.
You can't just walk up to those guys. And he's just the whole movie just like locked in with his little binoculars.
Yeah.
He's just like sitting there, and I just think it's funny that he's like, all right, time to watch the surfers.
Have you guys ever watched Surfers?
Surfers?
Yeah.
Do you feel as weird? Like, I feel so weird when I'm watching them because I
Yeah.
know they can see me watching them, and they're like, why? What's this fucking dude still looking at?
So did you know that I surf?
You currently?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Still, what? You're like, oh, someone like you could surf.
No, I mean, I
That's
just feel
why
like
I wear glasses, dude. Like you
you
can't
wear
you can't
glasses.
do
I
this.
thought you were indoors only. No,
Yeah.
I figured.
Geographically, it's probably.
I don't know. I figured that would come up like, yo, I
Yeah.
surf.
I don't know. I'm not gonna be.
Yeah, I
like,
just found out you play hockey too. Didn't
Yeah.
know that.
What else?
What was
am
he
I
gonna tell me?
know
That you're
about?
the fucking president?
Great. No, it's I don't even remember. So you're saying, do you feel awkward?
Well,
You
yeah, 'cause
can't see
I'll be
people. I'm
watching
sure. You're like,
Nah, yeah, but they know you're there. And I just feel weird, like I'm doing something wrong. Like same with skateboarding. People are skateboarding.
I
I'm
think
like,
they're
"Get the
also
fuck out of
like,
here."
now if you had like your
oh, this guy's watching me. Let me hit this wave.
yeah,
And,
it's like it amps you up kind of. Now if you were sitting there and you just like drop trow on shore, like I'd be like, what the fuck's this guy doing? But
Pull it, yeah.
yeah.
we got to get rid of this whole show, I think, after this one. So he's basically trying to find an in into the show. Keith, do you have anything you'd like to add? to
No,
the
I
people at home?
was gonna say pull a Joaquin Phoenix from The Master when he just starts doing exactly like that on the beach. You just said it, and it's like the opening of that movie. He's just like right on the beach. He's just like,
Tin Man.
well, that's weird. That's how the movie starts. So that's
Yeah.
what
I guess it can only go up from
All
here.
right, fucking just keep going. I'm gonna
Anyway, so
I'm gonna ruin this.
he's trying to infiltrate the surfing community. So dumb. And then he bumps into I guess she's like a surfer and waitress. Her name's Tyler. I think that's when you're first introduced to her. He tries to get in there and surf, fumbles the bag completely, almost dies. She comes to his rescue and is like, "You got to get out of here. Like you got to do something else with your time."
Yeah, she's like, die on some other beach.
Die on some other beach. That's
He's like, you're not dying here. And then she pulls him out, and he's like, the name's Johnny Utah. She's like, who cares?
Who gives a shit, dude? So he basically like that. He sees that as an opportunity for like an in to the surfing community. He ends up making up a story about how his like he's digging into her backstory like at the FBI, and he's like, nice, 2 dead parents, let's go. And so he ends up fabricating this whole family tragedy thing to kind of win her over and be like, I'm trying to surf, like I have nothing in life or whatever. I don't know, remember the line that he says.
Like, my parents died in a car crash.
Yeah.
Like, probably not the best in, like, just like,
he's like, so we're
yeah,
going
my
the
parents are
scumbag
died
route.
too. And it's like, I know your parents are dead.
Yeah,
Can
like,
you
we should
teach me to
surf
surf? And so she's teaching him how to surf, yeah.
And that's a pretty funny like series of. He's just doing like he puts the surfboard in the sand and she's just like berating him. People are like walking by. Did you see, there's the number of like adults walking by were like,
loser.
like, look at this guy.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm like, dude, he's at a beach learning. It's not the weirdest thing. He wasn't in a Denny's trying to learn how to surf. Like, I don't know. It's just wild to me.
Don't drag your knee. Don't drag your knee. You're gonna be fish food or whatever. Don't drag your foot.
Yeah.
And that kid in the shop when he buys a surfboard,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like, I hope you stick with it. Or he's like, a lot of older guys are trying to learn to surf. He's like, I'm 25. He's like, yeah, that's what I mean. And he's like, hope you stick with
Hope
it.
you stick with it. Fuck that kid. Like, also, it's just wild that he's supposed to be 25 in this movie.
Yeah, I know.
He's like, yeah, I'm an FBI agent. I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
he's like
I have to take Tums every morning just cause. So we are the same, Johnny Utah.
He's like Drew Barrymore and Never Been Kissed, trying to act like a high school student.
But after the training scene though is a great scene when you first see Bodie. Well, you see him in the montage, but you see him and it's like him surfing. And it's like this great 80s like.
Is that when he's like laying on the wave and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks so awesome.
And he's like looking at him. He's
cool.
like, "That's Bodie." They call him Bodie Zaffa.
Yeah.
Do we ever have any confirmation if he's actually surfing at any point in this movie, or either of them is?
If that was actually him, or if it was
Either of
him.
them is.
I don't know,
actually-
but I know he actually skydived.
I was looking at that. Those were the scenes because there was a couple of them where
Those
it's like
scenes are
actually him. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way that they green screened that. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to the plot. He finally has his in. With this like surfing community. Meets Bodhi for the first time. He's kind of like the leader of this group of surfers. You're introduced to now. The names in these are awesome: Roach, Gromit, and I guess Nathaniel. But that's kind of just like a normal name. And Bodhi. So the group.
I was just going to say the funny thing about Nathaniel and Gromit is they were actually pro surfers that did acting on the side.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So like Roach and
really cool.
Swayze were actually actors, but those two were surfers.
Do you have their names? Did you know who what their names were? I'm curious to see who it is. I mean, I guess we could probably look it up.
John Philbin and
Bogies Christopher.
Yeah. John Philbin.
That's a hell of a name.
I know.
Stuff looked like.
But yeah, so I read that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. They're just like
cool.
surfers, like they're like, yeah, I'll do this movie, whatever.
Well, even like I know even when we did the Surfs Up episode, I thought that was cool that they got Kelly Slater and Rob Machado. They're like other pro surfers. Yeah. You're like, I think that's just a little touch. I mean, you're like, cool, they didn't need to do that, but that's cool.
Yeah, Nathaniel was actually a Children of the Corn.
He was a child of the Corn.
He was a child of the Corn.
Nice.
And then they start. Well, he starts making fun of Keanu's surfboard.
Oh yeah,
because he's like, oh, it looks like a '57 Chevy I used to have.
Yeah, because that board he buys, he buys like a neon. It's like a pink board or something. Yeah.
And then they go into that football scene.
Oh, that was wild. He's like, yeah, dude, come hang with us.
Awesome.
Well, because he was a famous. I thought it was interesting. They recognized that he was like. Yeah. They're like, oh, you're fucking the football guy.
Well, that's the funny thing at the end. Because, they go through, they're like throwing touchdowns, everything, it's great. And then Bodhi gets the ball and he tackles him into the water. So everyone comes in, what's your problem, dude?
I think you took that too far.
He's like, don't you know who this is? Johnny Utah, Ohio State. And then I love the line, Roach goes, Johnny fucking Utah. I'm sorry, man. Didn't mean to get in your face.
Instantly pulls back.
Yeah, like, he's like, oh, sorry, dude.
Guys. That's pretty cool.
And then he's like in the crew then. Like,
and then they're like, oh, obviously we play football together.
Yeah.
We rob banks together. Yeah. It's the natural order of things. Yeah. So where are we now? So he's in the crew. Finally he's there. So I guess he's like, I think at first it's kind of funny that he doesn't think it's them. I think he was just trying to get Annie into the surfing world, basically. So as he starts, like little by little, he starts to kind of master it. He starts mastering surfing. He finds himself like, you can see that he kind of starts getting really hooked on it. Like he starts being like, oh, I think there's the scene he's like carrying the surfboard into the office and shit like that.
Oh my god, McGinley fucking torches him.
Do you have the line that
I don't
McGinley
remember what he says to him. What does he say?
He's like, you've been out there for 2 weeks. He's like, we're not paying that.
Oh yeah, he's like, you guys produce squat.
Squat. Yeah, and he's like, I'm trying. And he's like, I did produce something. Got inside my first tube today. And McGinley's like, get this fucking guy out of here. He's so mad at him.
So Busey's like, can you leave that thing in the car?
Yeah.
So on the police front, they, like you said, Busey has determined they are like a surfing crew because they only operate from June to October. All the bank robberies are like that 4 months, and he also is devising. He's actually smarter. Well, portrayed to be smarter than you would think Gary Busey would be. Yeah. He's like one of the guys scuffed the counter. There's wax, Caranuba wax. Yeah. It's only used in. He says 300 items at first. She's like, God damn, what are they going to list them all? And he's like, I had this guy cross-reference them. It has to be one of two things. And he pulls out the sex wax. And he's like, what are you into weird? What does he say? He's like,
what are you into weird shit?
He's like, you're not into kinky shit, are you, Angelo?
But he's like, no, this is what they used to put the friction on their boards. Then they're like, okay. So we're like, oh, we're in. So they devise the plan to, they also get, what do they get back? They get a hair sample back?
Yeah, they basically... So they said
got
like
a hair sample.
In all of the... I think there was a line, he was like, in the 27 bank robberies, all we have to show for it is a single piece of hair.
We got one piece of hair. Yeah. They run it through... They get a samples of... what was it? Chemical... It was chemical waste. So they knew
some kind of chemical.
They knew there was runoff on the beaches. So they're like, all right, I know what we're going to do. We're just going to run up on some beaches where the surfers are, and we're going to get our own hair samples. And they do. They both do.
Yeah. They really do.
Yep.
What are the techniques?
So
Keith, walk us through.
I know
How
Keanu
would you-
says Keanu walks up to some dude and he says, "Oh, hold on, you got something in your hair." He's like, "You got one." Like he has a bucket in his hair, and he just rips the shit out of his hair. He's like,
"I just saved your life, bro."
he's like, I forgot what he says. He's like, I forgot what the guy says back. He's like, "Oh, you want to leave me some hair, man?" or something. And then what did Busey?
Busey just goes up and cuts the one guy's hair, and the guy's like, "You cut my hair, man?"
He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, because he catches them under a blanket. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're making out, but they're really just like obviously smoking or whatever they're doing.
There's just smoke billowing out.
They think they're about to get busted, and he doesn't bust them. He's like,
Oh yeah, he shows his badge.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And he ends up
gets the
just
hair
cutting
sample.
his hair.
So they got the hair sample, and they realize, oh, this is definitely a surfing-related incident. Which is wild because at one point they say, okay, we only have a month to solve this till October. And what's the month right now? It's September. We couldn't have picked a better...
Yeah.
You guys couldn't have picked vacations better apart. So that we have to end up doing this September.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it. It's almost like we're in the movie.
Yeah. All right, Keith, do you want to talk about the scheduling?
Scheduling?
Do you want to talk about
Oh,
the
no, you guys are
scheduling?
just... I'm not busy ever. You guys are just both busy. You guys are both married and
it was
on
like
vacations. And
I feel like we're not
I'm free all the
that
time,
busy.
which is
It's
really
just we're
embarrassing.
busy when the other one is not.
Yeah, I should have
Yeah,
just given you
right.
guys each other's number and said, I know you don't know each other, but you guys figure this out.
Dude, I'm sorry we don't sit in our cars started. You just staring at your phone waiting.
Yeah, okay. So basically, anytime
even
either you
finish
guys
that.
needed
That's
to do
too
it,
mean.
I was free, and it just felt like every time you guys said, "Oh, Keith, can you
Yeah.
do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I felt like a fucking loser because I'm like, "Oh, I don't have a single plan."
I like to picture that every time you're like, sorry, dude, we can't. You're like, all right, Olivia, I'm going out. And then you're just blasting Everybody
She's
Hurts, like full recline. And
She finds out I actually haven't been recording podcasts at all. She's like, "Damn, Keith, this is real sad."
She's like, oh, look at this.
Yeah. Have you seen this?
Have you seen this movie? Jeez, Keith, you're a good friend.
It's like,
It's
yeah.
so depressing.
Well, I hope I die.
After he gets yelled at,
Oh, I thought you were talking about Keith.
No.
I was like,
I was just
like,
gonna
oh, we're
say,
yelling at
in
him.
the
No, we don't yell at me because we know I can't take it.
after he gets yelled at, he meets that other crew of surfers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Like,
So he's surfing. He's basically just like they're on that beach.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to like use his surfing skills to see who it is. So he finds another group of surfers and takes away.
So he's surfing and he's on this. He catches this wave, and this guy, is riding up on him, and he dives in. And he's like, "Stay off my wave!" And he cuts his
The
ankle
leash.
thing
Yeah.
and just punches him square in the face.
He's just like,
Yeah, so he's like, so Johnny, goes to the shower. And he's just like there, like washing off.
yeah, he's
And,
kind of bummed about it.
Then all of a sudden, the crew comes up. It's 4 guys, and they like take off the thing. He's like, okay, I guess this is the part where you tell me stay off my beach or something. He's like, no, that would be a waste of time. We're just gonna fuck you up.
That
And
is a
then,
really
like,
great
they all
line.
try to fight, and then, or they all are fighting, and then Patrick Swayze comes in to the rescue, and he's like,
Yeah. So this whole time, it's when he's trying, like Gary Busey, he has him on his radio.
Yeah.
And he basically puts the radio down
But he
for a
can't
second.
see him, yeah.
So he can't see him. So you have Gary that's coming in hot, trying to see like what's going on. Essentially,
Yeah.
he thinks like, oh fuck, like some guys are kicking his ass. And then you have Bodie like separately come in and like take care of business, I guess.
yeah,
But
because he comes in, the big guy has him by the neck,
yeah.
and he comes up and goes, "Back off, war child, seriously." And then he lets him go,
War
and he
child.
goes, "Thank you."
Thank you.
And then
But
it almost doesn't happen, but then they end up just fucking him up anyways.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the fight's over. This is what I always laugh about this. Like, the fight's over.
Yeah.
Bodie, like, made sure it was all done.
Yeah.
And then Johnny Utah punches the guy in the face. Like, well,
Socks
guess we're fighting.
Yeah. Well, I think it's so that scene. I saw that as like he needed a way to show Bodie that like I'm not
Yeah,
I'm
right,
not going
right,
to back
yeah.
down. Like because then after that it's like they're walking back to their car
yeah.
and he's like you have a real intensity in your eyes, man. He's like it's very rare to see in someone.
Yeah.
And he ends up inviting him to his house instantly. Like he's
Yep.
like, dude, we've surfed together, we've played football. You punched a guy, come over and hang out. Like that's the order of how they're.
He's like, come with Tyler. She knows where it's at.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah.
He's like, been there, done that. Guess it's yours now, bud.
you go.
Basically, he just
Yeah.
keeps doing that to him. Like whatever,
Like the whole
what's mine
time.
is yours. I'm like, brother, Jesus.
Oh,
But one funny part is you said that Busey's running in. He's running in, about to turn the corner and be like, "I got your back." Then he realizes that Bodhi's there. And he's just like, hey, "What does he say?"
He's like, "Have you ever seen?" He's like, "Have you guys seen a kid with a stereo running?"
That's what it was. That's what it was. It was a stereo.
And he's like, "Oh, if you might want to try those guys down there," because he's basically like trying to sick them on him. And Bodhi, he has what's the line? He says something really funny. He's like, "Man, you just love like stirring the pot." Or something.
Something like that.
Something super goofy. So basically, they obviously like the next scene is they're going over to his house. They're going to try and see basically what the deal is. I think it's just like he's just kind of partying with them.
He's just having a huge party.
Just having a grand old time.
Go in like Jimi Hendrix is playing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And Patrick Swayze's just like doing tequila shots with this girl.
Oh, and Tyler's like, I told him that. She's like, yeah, thanks. I was like, oh, this is
when he fucking takes the shot and bites the lime.
Yeah,
I told him that.
I told him that.
Thank God you did.
And then,
Johnny Utah's like, oh, nice. Just
like
watching that.
Can you teach me that one too, babe?
Teach me. He does the sleeve pull.
Then they're by the fire.
Oh yeah,
and they start.
It's like the core group.
Yeah, the 50-year storm.
Yeah,
like story, and I love this line because she's like, Roach is like, yeah, when you catch a huge wave like that, it's better than sex. And then Tyler's like, maybe because you're not doing it right, Roach.
Yeah, his face afterwards. He's just like. Great.
Yeah, and
it's a pretty good line.
They just started talking about 50-year storm, how like every half century comes up.
Yeah, what was he's like every every 50 years, like Mother Nature has to tell us like who's really in charge or something. And he's like super spiritual. Yeah,
he's like, Bell's Beach is gonna be the biggest one. I'll be there riding it and then it's like
a little foreshadowing.
It's like it's gonna, or somebody says something like you're gonna. Or like big waves are for macho guys.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not tragic to die doing what you love. I'm like,
damn.
Like, God, dude, Swayze.
It's fun. And then the one dude has a really great. I think it's like I can't remember what one it was, but he's basically they're talking about like, yeah, man, we're gonna live this lifestyle forever. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm not even gonna live to see 30. And you're like, oh, dude, you're gonna be older one day and be like, wow, I was such a tool.
Is that where he says, if you want the ultimate, you've got to be willing to pay the ultimate price? Is that where he says that?
I think so, yeah.
That's a pretty good line. That's a good, that's a Swayze line, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that he was known for, like, this movie has a ton of one-liners that. We were like,
there's so many quotes in this movie, but
it's endless.
Like, yeah, and then him and Tyler.
Oh yeah, they end up
like, we lost somebody, and
so they go surfing at night. They end up being like, and Johnny basically comes to life. Like I think outside, like the whole time he's been like, I need to learn how to surf because I need to, like, for the case. Yeah. They go surfing at night and she has a really cool line where she's like, I think it was like the first time that I saw you like be free.
Yeah, because she's like, it always looks like you're doing this for a school project or something. But he's and then him and Bodhi are surfing. And he's like, "You're surfing, man!
You're surfing, man!" Oh man, I love those scenes too because they're like slow motion in the ocean, but the audio is like clear as day.
Oh yeah.
They're like, "You are surfing, friend." It's like huge.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that. They're like talking through waves in different parts of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking
It's
way.
loud out there. Yeah, you're not talking to anybody. But that's pretty great. So they end up, Tyler and Johnny end up kind of hanging out. They're like, oh, looks like we lost someone. He's like, let them be.
Yeah.
He's just like,
leave the fire for me.
Leave the fire. It's just like, that's why his name should be War Child in this. I feel like that's more fitting. Like, yeah. So they end up like hooking up. Mm-hmm. He realizes that they wake up on the beach, and Johnny realizes he's super late. They're basically doing an FBI raid on the rival crew that he ran into at the beach. They basically think like, oh, cool, we got the guys. Like we're finally gonna do it. So he shows up to the raid. They end up, Gary Busey's character has this great, like, he knocks on the door and he's like, oh, excuse me. He's like, you see my dog anywhere? Like, he's just like a maniac.
He's like, Scooby.
Bro.
He's just sort of walking around.
That whole setup is fucking crazy. The two dipshit agents go around the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Keanu was supposed to be there. Johnny's supposed to be there, but not be seen. And I'm like, he's just walking around with his gun out, just like,
yeah.
And then the lawnmower,
the fucking
gets
lawnmower,
turned
dude.
on, so they
this
can't
scene,
hear.
That was wild.
if we're talking favorite scenes, this might be my favorite scene.
And then
this is
they
fucking-
pull out the arsenal.
Yeah.
They like pour the guns on the
gear
bed,
up.
and they're like,
Oh, first of all, we got one girl in the shower, clad.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got the other girl that answers the door.
Or if I was
in-
watching it, edited.
edited.
She was.
It was like playing The Sims.
Yes.
Sim
shower scene.
Yeah.
Other girl opens.
Yeah. Blurred.
Full
Oh no.
90s high-waisted bikini.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, so these are their
And
girls.
she's like, I haven't seen your dog, man.
Yeah.
She's like trying to get
So
him.
even
Yeah.
the girls in this movie are fucking hard. Everyone's hard. Their whole crew is just hard ass people.
Yeah, everyone's just like, dude, back up. Oh, this is so. Speaking of blurring, I'm going to take way back to the beginning. Remember, he moons the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
that
he
was
says
blurred.
you suck on his ass.
Yeah, that was
You didn't
blurred.
see that. You don't, what does it say on his butt when he moons him?
It says you suck.
You didn't. Just because I said that.
I've seen this movie outside of the blurred
Sure.
edition.
We know you only have TBS, and we know why because you have parental locks. We know because you've been
Yeah.
watching.
Oh,
too
yeah,
much
I'm
Saving
not
Private
allowed.
Ryan.
Actually, I think it says thank you.
Does it say thank you?
I
Yeah,
think because when he does that, it's like thank you for your money.
I thought it says you suck.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll find
It
out.
says you on
Should we
one
pull up
cheek.
the cheeks?
All right,
No, that was weird. Someone's gonna clip that.
I'll
and
get
that's gonna be the
I'll
end.
I'll pull up.
That's
the
gonna be the
cheeks.
end of this show.
But yeah, so they like pull out the arsenal.
Yeah,
and then they're like,
gearing
there's
up.
like, there are cops out there.
There's
and they're
this
like,
guy out front.
so then, and he's trying to get Busey out of there.
Yeah,
and he
he's
can't hear
fine.
him. So then, and then the whole thing.
They end up basically just firing at each other, like
All right.
firing.
Yeah,
Oh, Google.
and
point
then
break, point break butt cheeks.
so then it's crazy because like the whole raid happens,
Yeah.
and then him and Warchog in this like fight.
Yeah,
Johnny
that's
Utah,
with the lawnmower,
Warchog,
right?
yeah, and he's trying to push Johnny
Yeah.
Utah's face
That
into
was
the
gnarly.
mower, and he's like pushing, and then Busey comes out, and he shoots the
Oh, he shoots a lawnmower.
shoots the lawnmower
right?
and stops, and then Warchog turns around and he goes, "Speak into the microphone,
Oh,
squid
yeah.
brain."
Oh, I love that.
What a dipshit thing to say.
I know.
Yeah, and
But that whole scene's crazy in that.
that is wild, and that's where we see Anthony Kiedis. He's
Oh, yeah.
he blows. He ends up
Ah,
blowing his
thank you.
foot off. What?
It's thank you.
So Keith's on his own little I guess butt cheek investigation.
I did.
going
It's thank
on
you. So I
privately.
misspoke. I talk shit on you. You talk shit on
Yeah.
me.
I agreed with you though, so because I truly didn't. I couldn't remember what it actually said on his butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, it says thank you, and I was like, oh yeah.
All right. Anyway, sorry. Continue. I fucking
With the butt
I
cheeks.
blacked out there.
So this is a great segue.
Yeah.
So Anthony Kiedis shoots himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Dude,
That was
it's
blurred.
so funny.
Yeah.
All of it blurred.
Oh yeah. So what you just saw like a white sneaker with a hole, but it was blurred.
No, they didn't even like blur just the foot. The whole screen just went like blurry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the dumbest
Wow.
thing. Anyway, so
Well-
yeah, he blows his foot off, and then I guess this is where we find out that there was an undercover
Yeah.
DEA agent there.
Well, first Keanu's in the bathroom, and the naked girl comes
Dude.
out and starts
Oh, yeah.
hitting him and like
forgot about
punching
that.
him and like.
And then she basically goes banshee mode with the
Yeah,
knife and
with
starts
the
stabbing
knife.
the one dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. She has literally not
Yeah.
an ounce of clothes on, unprotected,
Yeah.
and she is
She's just
murking,
going
dude.
That's like
crazy.
my fear that someone comes in,
Yeah.
and, like with a gun to
One
my
girl
home
gets
while I'm
used
in
as
the
a
shower.
One girl gets used as a bullet shield.
Yeah.
The other girl just
she's
completely
done.
buck. Just
So the rain,
Busey is
so the
instantly
rain
like,
just goes off the rails.
It's
Like it's
not
crazy,
good.
and
But this is where we see Tom. What's his name?
Sizemore.
Sizemore.
Tom
yeah.
Sizemore. He's basically playing a DEA agent who was undercover, and he was like, he's like,
Yeah.
I've been sleeping at the hotel. He's like,
Yeah.
my wife can't look at me
Yeah.
anymore.
He's
And-
like, you think I like this? And then he puts on the wall. He's like, 2 kilos uncut crystal meth, and
Yeah.
like they're like, oh shit.
They're like,
and
"We
then
didn't get the right
and
guy."
then McGinley, Sizemore goes, tell me, how could they have robbed a bank on May 5th at Fort Lauderdale if they were, or if they were in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
And then McGinley's in the background. He goes, it's kind of hard to do.
you can tell that he's like. I think I draw a lot of similarities between his McGinley's character in this and Scrubs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like he basically plays the same guy, but just in a different setting. I just thought that was really good.
Yeah.
He's a curly-headed fuck.
That was so unnecessary.
But no, he is though. He's he's an asshole and everything.
Yeah,
but, it's an
but he's
awesome
really
asshole.
good at
Yeah.
it though.
But like that kicks off the movie because like I mean, it's pretty action packed before that.
Yeah.
But from then on,
it picks up.
It's like crazy.
There's a lot of parts in this movie you're like, oh, this could have been like the end. Like they could have been like, this was true. This really was them, and like, that could have been it. But you can't. It's great. The movie just keeps going, like in all different.
Well,
directions.
then we get to the lawnmower part in the same scene, right?
Yes, lawnmower. Yep.
He goes out there and he's
yeah,
fighting
speaking
with
in
the
the
one
microphone, and then he's like, "No, not you." That's the line that he said.
Oh.
I mean, also you could probably move in a little bit too.
Okay, dude, I'll move a little bit closer.
No,
so was my
gonna
audio
be
just
a
washed out for the
nightmare.
whole episode?
No, you
Cool,
just
yeah.
sit how you're comfortable.
No,
I
I'll
don't
just
care.
fucking die. It's fine. Anyways, he's battling the one dude outside. Is it War Child he's fighting?
Yeah.
He's fighting the huge dude outside, and you're like, Keanu's fucked. But then the dude ends up getting his face. For some reason, the dude that's cutting his grass just left his mower down, blades up on.
Yep.
I like to think that it was like a kid who was like, "Yeah, no, mom, I'm definitely mowing. You can hear it while I'm out there." And then he's just like,
I think he just heard all the gunshots. He's like, I'm out of here.
"Yeah, that's probably
I'm
a more logical
I'm not even turning this off.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what lawnmower just stays on, but anyways, it stays on. And
yeah.
then he's about to put his face in the blender. His chin is like about to get eviscerated, and then Busey comes out, shoots the mower last second,
and saves the day.
Yeah.
So fast forwarding a little bit, so he is basically they blew it. Like that wasn't the thing goes horribly. So I think it's a little bit. Might be going forward a little bit. So. He's watching. He's on the beach. Utah's on the beach. He kind of sees Bodie's group surfing, and he starts to think that they're the ex-presidents. He's like, "We didn't get these guys." And then he notices there's 4 people in the crew. There was 4 people, like the 4 ex-presidents. How close they were, and how one of them, like, he actually sees him moon one of the other surfers while they're out there, and he's like, "I've seen that ass before."
Yep. Yeah.
Keith re-verified, so you recognize that ass from a mile away.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah, but don't Google Point Break butt cheeks. You're not gonna like what you see.
It's gonna be.
Or
do it at work. High risk, high
work.
reward.
Yeah, do it at work in front of your manager.
Because that's when he picks him up to surf at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
He's like, "Come on, we're going surfing," and then he's like, "I gotta go."
Yeah, he's like, I gotta go. He's like, I forgot I had a meeting. And you're like, all right, dude, whatever.
And then this one funny thing I saw was that he was talking to Pappas and was like, he goes, I've been following Bodie everywhere. He's like, he had lunch at Patrick Roadhouse, which I thought was hilarious because that was
really
like a
great.
nod to like
That's
Roadhouse.
wild.
Yeah,
I didn't pick up on that. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then so I think they kind of see that they're gonna maybe do another like bank robbery.
Mm-hmm.
So they're staking out a bank robbery. This is where he buys Gary Busey 2 sandwiches.
Yep.
Oh my god.
That's
2 meatball sandwiches.
And he goes when he brings them back, he's like,
I should have got 3.
He's like, I was so hungry I could eat the end of the fucking ass end of a rhino.
Yep.
You should have ordered 3.
Should order me 3 of these.
He's like, Utah,
scumbag.
give me 2.
Give me 2. Yeah, give me 2. Oh, and then he's laughing at he's like, man, this what's the comic that
Calvin
he's
and Hobbes.
He's like, man, this Calvin and Hobbes is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so dipshit.
He's
Utah
like
is
overacting.
ordering. He's like, yeah, let me get 2 meatball sandwiches, a tuna on wheat. Come on, dude.
Yeah, dude, you got these fire meatball sandwiches.
Dude,
You're
let me
eating on wheat.
while he's
I'll
ordering
take
them,
a
you
tuna.
see the
dude.
ex-presidents unload out of a car into the bank right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so they
And Pappas is just reading
Yeah,
Calvin
he's
and
reading
Hobbes,
it.
not
He's having
looking
the
at the
time
This
of
bank.
guy's ordering
Right.
his tuna and wheat. I'm like, oh, you dipshits.
Yeah.
So this ends up being into like this wild chase. Utah ends up like basically he's trying to get these guys. So they're driving after him. They end up at a gas station. They ditch the car. Kind of all of them scatter, and it ends up being Utah chasing Nixon, who's kind of like the leader.
Well, do you remember what happens at the gas station?
Oh, is that when he has the fire and he's like holding it up? To
Which
the
I always
guy?
say, any movie with a flamethrower in it
Oh
is
yeah.
great.
So he torches the car.
He like lights. He hits the gas
Oh
and
my
then
God,
lights it.
so
It's like,
fucking.
yeah.
and he's just like
torches
torching
the
the car, and then Utah comes out of nowhere, tackles him,
gets him,
and then it's one of the greatest foot chase scenes
yeah.
ever in history. It's crazy.
He also says to the employee that's there, he first of all dumps gasoline on the employee and says, "Don't even think about it.
Don't be a hero."
Don't
Is
basically don't be a
what
hero
he says.
because you're covered in gas."
Yeah, and this is not going to go.
So he
well
runs
for
away,
you.
and then that fucking
and
insanity.
they're like running through all these houses.
Yeah.
and then
people
at
are
one
screaming
point,
at him and
at one
stuff.
point, Swayze throws a dog at him.
Oh yeah,
It's a fucking full size pig.
Yeah. And he's like, it's crazy. He's just like running through all
Booking
these
it.
houses, and people are like, get out of my house, and
Yeah.
like,
And so I think it finally ends up they're kind of at like this little quarry. They climb a fence, drop down, and when Utah lands, he had a knee injury from his time in baseball. He basically fucks up his knee. He's on the ground. He has a very clear shot of Bodhi, like as Nixon. It's basically revealed. I don't think we mentioned this, but like it's later you find out that Bodhi was Nixon in this. So he basically has a very clear shot, and he decides not to take it. He's aiming at him, and if you think back to the very beginning when he's training in the rain, he makes every single shot. So he's like he could have hit him, but he makes the choice to not hit him. They have the great scene where the camera zooms in on Bodhi's eyes.
You can see his eyes.
Yeah, and you can see that basically he's like, fucking go for it, man. Yeah. And like when he doesn't shoot it, I think that's when he's like,
he turns and shoots like
he just
like
he just does a death pop
and like
yeah. So you can see his eyes through the Reagan mask, and you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
you know it's him.
And so later that night, it's basically. It is confirmed that Bodhi and the gang are the ex-president. They end up discovering, or Tyler kind of separately ends up finding out that he was in the FBI, and basically is like, fuck you, leaves. And she holds him, she ends up pulling a gun on him too. It was very similar to, we did the Goodfellas episode. It was very similar to like the Karen Hill scene.
I love that scene.
Where he basically wakes up and there's a gun in his
is like
face.
out of focus, like in his face.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that scene.
I think it draws, I mean, obviously I don't think they were like, we're going to do something we've never done before. We're going to reference Point Break. The greatest mob movie of all time.
And something I wrote down after that scene, because now they know.
Yeah, now they know that Johnny is an FBI agent.
And that's 50 minutes left of the movie.
Yeah,
and they know that...
We're halfway through.
Yeah, it's like crazy. It's awesome.
So they basically, she ends their relationship. Yep. Bodhi shows up kind of at his house, and Utah doesn't super think he knows. He's still trying to like hide his badge, and like out of nowhere, he's like, come on, man. We're going skydiving.
Yeah.
Like
he tries to grab his gun.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, man, we got to go. And he doesn't get it. He's like, oh.
So he's still trying to play it cool, but obviously the whole group knows like what's going on. They are up. They had a really great scene when they're actually up in the plane, and I think he's just like he's like, oh, who packed my chute? He basically doesn't trust anyone like in the plane because I guess he would you say he knew at this point
that he knows that they know?
Yeah.
I think he knows that they know because she knows.
Yeah.
She knows they're tight. He knows they're tight. He's like, oh fuck.
And he's like, this is not this is a not chill
place
like, to be in.
Pager. I got a page. My fucking partner Pop is doing.
He's fucking reading the magazine in his car.
Yeah, that would be freaky, man. Like they know you are, and you're like gonna skydive, and they packed your chute. Like...
Yeah, at that point, I'd be like, I actually forgot that I have a meeting. We gotta land. I can't.
Yeah, I got this thing with this.
I got this, my back, my knee.
That's a cool scene when they do the star.
Yeah, so they end up jumping. I mean, basically, he's like, all right, fuck it. Like, I guess might as well, like, if they know, if we all kind of have this weird understanding, like, might as well go along with it. So they jump out, and you can tell that Johnny's actually, like, super into it. I think there's a really good line. I think the one of the dudes in the crew is like, Johnny, you're about to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. How do you feel? So they jump out. They do this like wild star thing together. Yeah. They kind of all like. I think this is a total power play by Bodhi of like, no, he can still be flipped. Right. He can join our crew. Like I think this will still work out because he didn't shoot him.
Yeah, because when they're talking about what happened, he's like, "I'll take care of it."
Yeah.
He's like. And they're all like freaking out. Like that was before this. Like they were freaking out, and they're like,
"Oh yeah." He's like, "I am scared." This is like back at the campfire. He's like, "I am scared."
He's like, "You're the only one this is a game to. I'm scared." Like he's like, "I'll take care of it."
And like rightfully, I mean, they robbed 27 banks. Yeah. It's kind of wild.
So speaking of the skydiving, I looked it up just to see what the deal was. He did all of his own. Patrick Swayze, 55 jumps for this film.
Yeah. That's wild.
55 jumps.
Swayze did 55 jumps to prepare for this?
No, like I'm assuming for the production, so like all the different...
Yeah.
So I don't know if he did other people's jumps. I don't know what
That's wild, though. Dedication. That's what that is. I mean, if you're getting paid all that money to be like a Hollywood actor of like a major movie, like, go skydive. So they end up jumping.
Yep.
They make it. They land safely. I think they end up getting picked up in like I guess it was like just a van or something. And he's like, "Oh yeah, one more thing, Johnny, I got to show you something." And they have Tyler basically at like held hostage. And he's like, I'm sorry about this, but this is like to make sure things go smoothly.
Yep.
Do you have any notes on any of that part?
I just like because then he like pushes him up against the thing, and he's like, think about it. I'm the only one that knows where she is. And like, he's like, you kind of need me alive. And then he's like, I love this line when he's like, I don't want to do any violence. He's like, she was my woman. We shared time.
We shared time. That's so. What a strange dynamic they have this whole movie.
Yeah.
So they basically blackmail him.
Yep.
And they blackmail him into doing like one final bank robbery. Only he's the only one without a mask, basically.
Yeah. They're like, oh, sorry, ran out of masks.
Yeah. They're like, oh, geez, sucks for you. They go in, they do the robbery, and he basically, there's a cool scene. He's like, make sure you smile for the camera. Like, it's going to be kind of hard to do the whole, like, oh, I was just in the FBI thing. Like, he's basically fucking over Johnny in this scene, which is like, Bodhi's not dumb in this movie, is what you find out.
And one funny thing in the van when they're going out,
he
goes, Bodhi, this is your wake-up call. I'm an FBI agent.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know, man. Isn't it wild?
I know. I just think I can't tell if like the lines are genuinely good or if like their delivery is what makes it so funny. Because like that line, like wake up, dude, like I'm an FBI agent.
Right.
Like that's serious, but he's just like, I'm an FBI agent. And he's like, oh, nuts, dude. And, like, it's just so wild. So the robbery ends up going wrong. They go to the vault, which is I think they basically are trying to get caught, or at least to have someone to pin this on. So they get caught. Someone ends up dying, or a couple people. I think is it 2 people in the crew end up getting shot.
Yeah, because
during the robbery.
Remember, there's
there's an
off-duty cop.
Yeah,
and the security guard's like, no,
he's
don't
like,
do it, don't
please,
do it.
don't.
He wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah, whispers him, I'm an officer. He's like, I literally don't give a fuck.
He's like, cool.
And he shows him his gun. He's like, don't even fucking think about it. He's like,
scream at the top of my lungs.
He's like, I know I have a gun on me, but I've never used it, and I don't know how to. Please don't do this. He's pleading him. He's like, okay, cool, bet. He pulls out the gun.
He's like, yeah, no, you stay here. And then, like,
so then he shoots Gromit.
Yeah, so he's done.
And he's like,
he's fucked. He dies like instantly, or he's the one.
They try to bring him out,
and he's gone.
And then Swayze gets shot.
Yeah.
Too, but then he gets up and blows away the cop.
Yeah,
they are using some high-powered handguns.
Oh, yeah,
he blows his
unsettling.
chest right out. It's crazy.
So the police end up showing up. They arrest Utah. The rest of the guys have kind of fled. The remaining members have kind of fled the scene. It seems like they're about to pin it all on Utah. Yeah. Pappas is basically like, I'll drive him in. Like, he's like, don't arrest him in one of those. Like, no, he's like, let me take him out. Yeah. He gets in the car, and Utah's like, I know where they're going. And he's like, yeah, I fucking know you know where they're going. And he unlocks his handcuffs like instantly, and so they're back at it.
I remember McGinley gives him all that shit.
Yeah,
because he's like, oh yeah, like, I put him with you because he's a fuck up just like you or something.
Yeah.
And then he goes in this whole thing, and then he's like, you want to know what?
Oh yeah, this is Busey yelling at McGinley's character.
And he's like, and then he goes, why don't you astonish me, shit face?
Astonish.
And then he just knocks him clean out.
Socks him. That's a pretty good line.
Yeah. And he says, he's like, I've learned something that you still haven't got.
Yeah. He's like,
respect for my elders.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But he says, I was in the bureau while you were still popping zits in your funny face and jerking off with the lingerie section of the Sears catalog. I was like, what's up?
You're like, you just pulled that out of nowhere?
And then the cold cop punched in the face and McGinley's sleeping.
Yeah.
And that's the first time McGinley's ever shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And then they get in the car and they're like, let's go.
And they're like, yeah, that was fucking wild anyway.
Yeah. He's like, you just punched that dude.
You'd be like, oh, big time.
He's like, I'll fucking do it again.
They turn the car around. Yeah, what's up, dude? So they're driving to. He basically finds out they're going to go to an airport. Utah's like, they're going to the airport. They talked about going to Australia. Like, they're definitely gone. They meet up at the airport, and right now, and I guess who's left is Bodhi, Roach, and Nathaniel. Yeah. They're about to leave. Oh, I guess it says for Mexico, just to kind of get out of Dodge. They end a shootout kind of ensues. You see Gary Busey kind of like lurking off to the side. And the one dude comes out, and he's like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah,
like,
Roach
comes out and shoots at Gary Busey. So this big shootout ends up going down. Papas and Nathaniel are both killed. They kind of kill each other, I guess, right?
Well, because Pappas shoots Roach and Nathaniel.
Yeah.
And then he thinks Roach is dead, and then he turns around and he gets blown by a shotgun in the back.
Yeah,
so
that's
he's
brutal.
dead.
That's brutal. Because I was like, I know he dies every time, but I'm like, wow, maybe this
You
time.
root for it.
This time, come on, just
And
like,
then
It's like watching the Titanic. You're like, they're definitely going to save
and then
this
the
time,
pilot's
dude.
like, I'm not following you guys anywhere. And like, get in the fucking
Yeah,
plane.
he's like, dude, come on.
yeah, because you hear the motor, you hear the engine stop, and you're like, what the hell? And he's just like, I'm not here.
This guy's like, nope, gotta
The
be
guy's
home
like,
by
yeah,
5.
get in the plane.
It's
And he's like,
come on.
okay.
that guy gives up next to instantly. He's like, all right, you crazy kids, get in. So yeah, it's just, so I guess who's left? Bodhi and Roach.
Utah and Roach, I think.
Bodhi,
Yeah.
Utah, and Roach, they
Yeah.
get in the plane. Roach is all sorts of fucked up. He's like, he's bleeding out. He has this great line. He's like, I'm really cold. And he's like, that's because all your blood is leaving your body.
He's like, you're dying, Roach.
And he's like, don't listen to him.
Yeah.
He's like, think about all those margaritas we're going to be drinking up down south.
And he's packing him.
Yeah,
in the
he's packing the chute.
And then Roach does a great line when they're about to jump. Because they don't give Johnny a pass.
Oh, yeah. They're like, we're obviously going to jump, so good for you.
And
Yeah, what does Roach
He
end up saying?
pulls him to this like end, and he goes, "See you in hell, Johnny." And he pulls out the thing.
That is a great. I think that's the last line that you hear from
Yeah,
him, right?
yeah.
That's a pretty good line,
Yeah,
honestly. So I think at this point Utah ends up jumping out of the plane with Bodhi's gun, and so he basically is like, "Fuck this, I'm gonna go after
He
him."
goes with no pack.
Yeah, no pack, because he's like basically gonna try and grab onto him.
He goes, "Fuck it," and he
Fuck
just
it. Yeah, jumps out of the plane. So then after landing, Utah's knee again, like this fucking knee the whole time is just getting into all sorts of trouble.
Well, this is the one where he pulls the chute. Oh, because they're like interlocked.
Yeah, they're together.
Yeah. And he's
like,
like, "Drop the
pull the
gun
chute."
and pull the chute."
Yeah.
So eventually, Utah pulls the suit last second, but it's too close, and they both fucking slam their legs on the ground. Dude, that is brutal. It looks brutal.
Yeah, that does look like
But
it
like
sucks.
Swayze just pops right up,
Yeah.
like he's fine. Like
Yeah, he's like,
whatever.
he's like, that was so cool.
I didn't
Remember when
blow
we
my
did
knee
that?
out in college.
So after landing, Bodhi, he's able to escape again because of his fucked up knee. Bodhi ends up meeting Rosie, who had Tyler captive. It's just like a friend of his, like a non-surfer buddy of his, I guess. You see that Roach ends up dying, and Bodhi and Rosie leave with money that they just stole from the bank. And Tyler and Johnny are just kind of left, like, sucks to suck, losers. Like,
Yeah, and Bodhi gets in the truck and goes, he has a great line. He goes, he's like, "See you in the next life, Johnny."
Yeah.
Like,
There's so many
he
great,
rolls
like,
off. Yeah,
this never happened. Like, send-off lines like this
Yeah, I know.
never happen anywhere.
and there's two in like
There's
within
two.
a matter of like 5
Yeah.
minutes.
And Johnny's just like, God, I gotta start writing some of this shit down. Like, this is so good.
Yeah.
So then it fast forward. It says that 9 months later, Johnny Utah ends up tracking Bodhi to Bells Beach, Australia, basically like where the 50-year storm is supposed to be. It's something that, again, we talked about a little earlier, that Bodhi had this like premonition of like, this is going to happen and it's going to hit hard in Australia. He ends up going up to him, he handcuffs him, and or I think they get into like a fight or something.
Well,
He
yeah,
throws the mask. He throws the Reagan mask down. And he says,
Yeah.
drop this."
Yeah,
Drop this, Bodhi, and he throws the mask down. You're like, oh,
You're like, oh, he got
Like this
him.
is such a great scene.
Yeah.
and he's like, when he throws a mask, it's like so good. And
He's
looks
just tossing
down.
shit the last 10 minutes of this movie. It's incredible.
And then they do get in a huge fight.
Yeah, that's
And
a good fight scene too.
And then when he handcuffs him, like you said, then he goes, Swayze goes, "There's no way I can handle the cage, man."
Can't handle the cage, man.
He's like, "Just let me go."
Yeah.
He's like, "There's cliffs on both sides.
Yeah.
I'm not going to paddle New Zealand."
So you see, and you kind of
you
see
see
in
those
the
fucking
background,
waves. You're like, oh
it's
my god,
pouring.
dude.
The storms are like ripping these waves. There's incredible waves in the background. So he ends up uncuffing it or like undoing the handcuffs.
Yeah.
And he paddles out in there, and I think at this point, who
You remember what
coming
he
up?
says to him?
He's like,
It's another send-off line.
was that he's not coming back? Is
Well,
that one?
that's
That's
one,
the
but
Yeah, lead us
he
into it.
handcuffs him, and he goes, Vio con Dios.
God.
He sends him out, and he just goes out.
Yeah, you see him just paddling his heart out.
The freaking wave comes, and then the cop's like, "We'll get him when he comes back in." He's like, "He's not coming.
He's not
back.
coming back."
Oh, another great
He
line.
throws
Another great line is when Swayze goes, "You still surfing?" And Keanu goes, "Every day."
Every day, dude.
I love it. That whole
That's
scene.
so
There's
awesome.
So many good...
He's like, "Yeah, dude, my dad's totally stronger than your dad."
But then you find out that he's been following him. He's been trying to follow his trace the whole time. Like he tells him everywhere he's been.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, "Wait, who does he say he found dead?"
Rosie.
Is it Rosie? Rosie's the fifth man the whole time.
Yeah.
He's the guy that never is part of the robbery, but he's always like their.
Yeah.
He's like their Alfred.
Well, Bodhi basically tries
no pop on that.
What's up?
He's like their Alfred.
He is. Except
You're
a
not
lot,
cool with that?
lot tougher.
I'm just kidding. I just really
But
like.
Alfred a bank robbing. He's
Yeah.
like, he's the one that's like he's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He's like got caught up with Rosie in Mexico. Guess he got in a knife fight with someone who was better.
He found a piece of meat or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that's, what a wild dialogue.
But he basically followed him all the way around the world.
Yeah,
And
he's
then
like trying to catch him.
And then he got the news alert on his iPhone, and he's like, "Oh shit, dude! The 50-year storm.
Dude,
Gotta get there."
I set the calendar notice. We gotta
Yeah.
go, dude.
But supposedly Hell's Beach is the Point Break of the world.
Yeah.
Like that's the spot where it hits the hardest on the rocks.
There
That
is
is the like pinnacle.
Yeah.
of surfing. I don't want to bring up the Surf's Up episode again,
You can.
but when when he's like the little bird is like, I've been going all around this earth like scouting for the next big surfer. He goes to the Australian surfer. It's at Bell's Beach. Yeah, there's like the big rocks. So it's called
That's
Bell's
cool.
Beach because
So you're a big surfer guy. You got.
yeah.
You're like
I've been into
You're like a Billabong, dude.
He's hit a Point Break here.
You got
and
these
there.
board
my
shorts. You
surf
got the
hat
board
on?
shorts with the bottle
dude.
opener on them.
I'll bring my surfboard to work tomorrow.
You should.
I'm not. Can you imagine getting that nightmare through the front door? I'm sure they'd love that. Just pop my shirt off at my desk. Imagine if I start putting on suntan lotion in the middle of the
What if
office.
you're just teaching me how to surf in the middle of the cubes?
Yeah.
Pop up.
Pop up, dude. You're going to drag your knee. Everyone's going to laugh at you.
You're gonna be fish food, dude. You fucking loser.
Another
You guys doing Point Break? No. Tim, get out of here, dude. You don't know anything.
another good line at the end. He's like, "People died. You need to go down, man."
Like I said, I don't know if it's just like, I think it's just Keanu's delivery. It's
just
these
his
lines.
voice.
He's just such a
fucking man.
But
And,
then he chucks the badge.
Yeah, he basically is like, I wasn't going to catch him, which I think it's kind of like, this goes back to the whole, he ended up loving surfing so much that he was like, you know what, like, I respect that feeling. And he's like, fuck it, dude. Let him, at least he'll be dead.
Yeah, and he just like basically stayed on the force to catch him. That was it. And then he finally caught up to him, cat his thing, toss his badge, and then this great rat song plays at the end.
So is he just gonna be a surfer then? Is that his deal?
Yeah, Cowabunga.
Yeah,
Cowabunga.
Yeah.
I'm being all.
You know that movie Johnny Tsunami on Disney Channel?
Yeah.
It's his kid.
All right, so real quick, what do you guys have like a favorite heist movie? Is this your favorite heist movie, or do you have like another movie you're like, oh, that's my favorite heist movie?
Is Reservoir Dogs a heist movie?
It is.
Yeah.
It's an unseen.
You just
heist.
never
You never see the heist. That's
that's
probably
up
my
there.
favorite heist movie.
It's so good.
I would say. It's just so good.
Heat.
Heat. That's a
But
that's
I
a cool
have
one. 'Cause That's a
one.
heist slash sort of mob, but mostly
Mostly heist.
heist.
I have one that doesn't get talked about enough, I don't think.
Is this like an inside scoop?
Den
You're
of,
like, yeah, my buddy
Den of
Tim made this
Thieves.
basement.
Wait,
Den of Thieves.
Den
That
of
sounds
Thieves
really familiar.
with Gerard Butler
Wait.
is
I
actually
think I know
incredible.
this one. Den of Thieves. You can probably hear.
That's a newer one, right? Is that?
Yeah,
is
see
that,
that?
Does it have the crossover with the other movie, Army of Thieves, or something? No, it doesn't.
No.
That's not that one.
But this movie's
Dude, 50
awesome.
cents in this movie?
If
Nice.
you,
Like,
if you have not
Wait,
seen
I've
this,
seen
you
this.
should watch it. It's really good.
yeah,
I
I'll
have
have to
seen
watch
this.
this
It's a
one.
good heist movie.
Damn, the
for
picture
sure.
of 50 Cent, they fucked up his forehead. What
Yeah,
the
they really did.
hell they do to him?
They did him dirty
Give
in
him
that
a seven
picture.
head.
Kind of reminds me of Heat. The
Yeah.
way this is like.
Okay, I'll watch that. You ever see Dead Presidents?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, Lorenz Tate. That one's they
seen
come
that
back
one
from
yet.
Vietnam.
I've seen the
That's
case,
got the
I just never.
classic
Never seen that one.
penis in the mouth scene.
What's up?
The little
Oh, okay.
ever seen? So it's got war.
People who are listening to this are going to be really confused at what those series of noises meant.
It's a cut. The cut and tuck. There's brutal Vietnam War scenes, but then like fucking insane. You've probably seen the movie posters. The guy, he's got the black beanie on, face painted completely white. With the gun up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Dude, the movie.
I haven't seen it.
That movie is awesome. And another one is Set It Off. Queen Latifah and Jada. Oh, there's 4 girls, dude. I love bank heist movies.
Yeah,
she's in. Have you ever seen? It's like a goofy movie, but it's one we used to watch growing up. Have you ever seen Taxi? Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, that's a
heist movie. It's kind of funny.
My favorite unsuccessful heist movie,
like the heist goes bad.
It's like it never was gonna be good. Is Dog Day Afternoon. Have you ever seen that with Al Pacino?
Yeah, that's a good one,
dude.
That's
because
crazy.
they end up trying to rob his bank, but the take is gonna be like $300 at the start.
Yeah,
and then it goes completely.
And
wrong.
they get caught
They get caught within 10
Not
minutes.
Get caught, but like they get surrounded.
They're surrounded.
Like the bank is surrounded.
Within the first 25 minutes of the movie, the heist is over.
Yeah,
but it goes the whole time, and it's honestly that is a fucking awesome movie.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you were just talking about the case of that movie, Dead Presidents.
Yeah, I have it downstairs.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but I remember the days walking through like Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And I used to work at Hollywood Video. That was awesome.
Oh, that was pretty
great. I
great.
could just like rent any movie.
Would you get free movies? Could you get free movies if you worked there?
Yes, I could get free movies,
great.
and I could rent the new releases a week before they came out.
Oh, that's solid.
So that was fun. But like walking through, there's so many cases that are ingrained in my brain that I'm like. And like I'll be like, oh, I gotta watch that because I saw that case. But like
we talked about it like at one of the earlier episodes, like that we like anytime we see like a cool poster, like that was I think that's kind of lost nowadays with streaming. It's like there was I think there was like the ritual of going in and like being like, oh, this looks cool. Like let me just pick it up and see what it's about and stuff.
Yeah, and like sometimes I would never have seen the movie, but the image of that movie poster, I was obsessed.
Yeah,
that would be in my brain. I remember Devil in a Blue Dress with Denzel Washington. I was way too young to see that movie, but I could tell you everything about the movie poster.
Yeah.
Until now, I don't really.
There was nothing.
I was going to say we'll go for it.
He's on it. I know he's got a white undershirt. He's kind of like sitting back like this, and he's got like maybe a fedora going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, 90s posters fucking rock.
There's nothing better than going in Friday night and like renting a movie. Like be like, all right, I'm renting a movie. Like, I'm getting snacks. Like, we're gonna watch this. This is gonna.
And you're always getting two. You're always getting two, regardless if they're both Friday night movies. You're getting two.
Yeah.
Did you ever? So, growing up, like, did you ever have a moment where you realized, like, all right, my friends are not into movies to the level that I'm into movies? Because I remember renting Airplane and The Naked Gun. Like I picked those two movies,
great
and I was like,
feature.
guys, this is gonna be life changing, right? Leslie Nielsen is the man. I remember showing my friends, and they were like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is amazing." I was like, "OJ's in this movie, guys. Well, come on." I mean, that's not why.
There's a couple guys that like growing up like that weren't into movies, as much. Like I wish I knew Keith when we were younger, because we would watch. Like, but we're making up for lost time now.
Oh,
but but we
you're gonna be guessing.
I had a guy. I had a guy that I grew up with, and we would watch horror movies. That's why I'm such a horror guy.
Yeah.
And every weekend, he'd either sleep at my house or I'd sleep at his house, and we'd go to Blockbuster and rent like 3 or 4 horror movies and just rip them through the weekend, and just be like. So that's why I've seen like so many horror movies. Like, people, have you seen that? Yeah, I've seen that. Like, because. We used to just rent them all. And we would go through and look at the cases and be like, this looks sick. Like, let's get this.
Just pick it up just because. Yeah.
Like Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Like Rawhead Rex.
I think Rawhead Rex. I just watched that recently.
It's crazy.
I think we're doing Pumpkinhead.
I think so, yeah. I can't remember our full
That's a
Halloween
great.
Yeah.
I know that was
if you're looking for another one to come back on
Lance Henriksen kills that.
But yeah, it's good. Like you said, I guess to this Point Break was definitely a good choice.
Do you think if we all like put some investment money down, do you think we could open up our own Blockbuster, bring it back?
I think it would work more now. Like I think we have a better shot now. I don't know if we're to be successful, but if you asked us like 5 years ago, I'd be like, no.
But I feel like we gotta bring it back because streaming services just keep ripping titles down.
Yeah,
can't watch Beetlejuice right now.
Yeah,
like I started buying Blu-ray again because I went full streaming.
Yeah.
But then licensing changes, stuff changes.
Yeah.
The thing that really set me off is I was trying to watch Kill Bill, and I just really wanted to rewatch it. Just really wanted to watch it, and you couldn't even buy it on streaming.
That's why
you couldn't even rent it. You couldn't
see...
buy it. I was like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah.
That's
why I couldn't see the butt cheeks in the beginning of.
Yeah, you couldn't see the butt cheeks, dude.
I was so mad.
I had to Google it, and you're like, I wish I didn't see that.
Wait, what did you Google? Point Break
butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Just
I looked over. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah,
dude,
it was like,
and
it wasn't even like good butt cheeks. It was just wild nonsense. I was like, "Dog,
it's wild.
What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
but if you Google Point Break mooning, it comes up with it.
Because that's like a scene, not just like weird words with butt cheeks. And the internet was like, "I know what you're really after these days." Yeah.
But no. Oh wait, have you got? No, speaking of,
speaking of butt cheeks.
Speaking of butt cheeks. No, have you guys ever seen the movie Bandits?
Mm-mm.
It's a newer. It's Bruce Willis and Billy Bob Thornton. It's like a heist movie with them. 2001, I think it is. Dude,
is that Tony Scott?
I don't think it is.
Oh no, I'm thinking of The Last Boy Scout.
No, it's not that. Bandits 2001. I'm just gonna throw that out there as like a probably. I feel like it doesn't get any love at all, but I would watch it. It's Barry Levinson. I would watch this over and over. It is so fucking good.
What year did it come?
2001.
That's pretty recent.
It's just like a fun.
I guess
heist
not. It's
movie.
like 20 years ago. Never mind that.
Like you know what's gonna happen every time, but it's just so good.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of there's definitely a lot of good ones.
He's the guy that's doing that Wise Guys movie.
Okay.
I can't wait.
What movie?
Wise Guys.
What's
so
the
the writer of Wise Guy that they made Goodfellas from.
Oh yeah.
Pileggi. He's doing the screenplay for a new movie called Wise Guy.
That's pretty cool.
Wise Guys,
multiple.
And it's the one that I was saying De Niro's playing two different crime bosses.
That will be really good.
Cool. I don't fucking understand it, but he's playing two Chicago capos, so that's gonna be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sorry about that fucking tangent. But Bandits. This is why we have to have a third person because Nick hates this part.
I don't hate this. Why
He's
do
like,
you think
dude,
I hate this part?
Because this is where I just like.
No, what did you say that I say when I'm trying to be polite? I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know.
No,
I'll be like, great. What is it? You're clowning me.
You say something really nice, but it's like what the fuck do you say to me? He very politely tells me I don't give a fuck. But I can't remember what he says. He says something.
Well, Emily called me out. I think you agreed. Whenever I'm like, oh, that was a good idea, but I really don't care about it, I'll be like, oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. That's what it is. I'll be at his desk. I'll be at his desk because the coffee thing is right by his desk. He set it up. There's a Keurig right by his desk, so I'm always filling my coffee. He knows. He takes the headphones out. He's like, all right, let's get this the fuck over with. And then like 20 minutes later, he's like, oh my God, my life is actually leaving my body. And then he's like, I'll be like, oh yeah, if I have an idea for something, he's like, oh yeah, maybe. And I'm like,
he's like, yeah, dude. So I'm thinking that we record in the dark next time. I'm like, yeah, maybe.
It's cool. He says, yeah, maybe. It's gonna be like, can Jack come back on? Yeah, maybe.
And this one time, it was right after. Okay, this one I have to say.
It's like 9 a.m, and I
have to say one funny thing. We left work.
Say more funny things. We'll get more listeners.
He left work.
Hey-o.
I didn't go to work. He left work to go see Oppenheimer. Fuck you. And we met to go see Oppenheimer in IMAX, right?
Yeah.
And. So we get back. I wasn't going to go to work at all, but the guys somehow bullied me.
Oh, we reverse bullied you.
I had vacation
everyone's doing.
Or I had my hours in. I had my hours in for the week. It was for Friday. I was like,
I had to like unsubmit a time card,
and they were like, "Dude, just come to work. Stop being an idiot." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I went into work.
We reverse bullied him.
I get to his desk. I'm sitting there waiting for him. I have my Chipotle bowl right there. I'm ready to eat lunch with the boys. Right? I have slippers on, shorts, and a t-shirt.
You were looking like a haunted house employee at the office. Dude,
I'm like, he's like, and he gets back to his desk, and he's like, oh man, I gotta do this thing, and this person just asked for this, and I was like, oh, so you want me to sit here completely silent? And he's like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And I was just like, I literally was about to eat Chipotle, my fork was going to my mouth, and my mouth was open. I was like, oh shit, that was the nicest way to say get the fuck away from me.
It was one of those things that I just like fired off, and then I looked over, and you were like. I was like, oh shit! Like that
I was like, all right, Nick. You know
I was
what?
like, no, you're good, man.
I'm
you
out of here.
And you're like, nah, I'll leave.
And this also led to me going to help somebody at work, not telling my SO where I was. She had no idea that I was going to work. I just stopped in on the way home from the movie. 6 hours go by.
Yeah,
it is like 6 p.m. or later on a Friday night. I'm not at my desk,
Olivia
so she can't get a hold
idea.
of me. And she had to text Nick.
Yeah.
Sean.
Your buddy Sean hit me up too. He's like, "Yo, dude, have you heard from Keith?"
People
I'm
were like searching
no,
for me
man.
because I was helping this one dude at work at his desk. And I
Yeah.
just never
After
went
we
back to my desk.
so we bullied him to come back to work, and then we left.
She was ready to send
an hour later.
She was ready to send a search party. She was like,
Yeah.
actually, she's like, started freaking out. She's like, Keith, you were supposed to be home. Like, I don't care where you are, but I just figured, like, I couldn't get and my phone died because it was hot. It was like 90 degrees for whatever. And so my phone dies. So she can't get she can't even see where my phone is.
Yeah, it was
she
a
can't.
mess.
My phone is off. My work phone is not answering. She's like freaking out, all because I came in to get rejected by this guy. He invited me back to work just to say, "Fuck you, don't talk to me."
So that's why we started a podcast, and that's how you got here now. That's good. The people are gonna like that story. They're gonna be like, "Wow, Nick's a huge piece of shit."
But he's actually like the nicest person.
Nah, dude.
He's just very passive with me.
Raise my fist. All right. Any final thoughts on Point Break? What do we got? I think we could wrap it up here. I think we've
I think the
we've
people
said
are probably
enough.
like ready to tell us that.
Yeah. All 4 followers are probably out of town right now.
They're like, they've already turned it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only one thing I'll say is that the members of the ex-presidents get killed in chronological order of their respective presidents served in office. Which
That's
is
good.
Cool.
Because you have Reagan, Nixon,
Yeah.
LBJ, and
You can do it.
Reagan's Bodie.
You can do
Greaseball is Nixon. He even does the I'm a crook. I just closed my computer.
it. Yeah.
What's
Carter.
Carter. Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
by far the ugliest. He just
Damn,
looks
dude.
so... Look at it. Look at the mask. You can order the mask online. I was looking at that earlier. He just looks...
He's still alive.
He's ugly.
So, Jimmy Carter, if you're listening,
Thank you for your service,
sincerely
but-
apologize.
Thank you for your service, but come on.
But honestly,
Come
like,
on already.
come on.
I mean, he probably thinks I'm ugly. Who cares?
Yeah.
I am
So
ugly.
your official advice to close out that Point Break episode is Jimmy Carter needs to be more attractive. And if he happens to be listening to our podcast, to do something about it.
Oh, yeah. He's probably so excited.
He's probably hype right now.
Can we just go back to what I said before? Swayze is like a
Yeah.
hotter version of Kurt Russell.
We could.
Rest in peace,
I don't think
Swayze.
we
I'm sorry,
should.
buddy.
Yeah, that's actually really sad.
I know.
Yeah.
That sucks. That sucks a lot.
Anyway, moment of silence. Anyhow.
Oh, yeah. So what? The last thing I'm going to say about Point Break. So that last scene where he just jumps into oblivion and you just see him keep going. They
Plummet
just
to his
did do a
doom.
shot of him actually doing that. And then they had rigged up some crane like 10 feet in the air to do those close-ups where they're actually like together because Keanu Reeves. So I guess Swayze insisted on doing those. He's kind of like Tom Cruise before his time.
Yeah.
And they were like, it was like supposedly an insurance nightmare. So I guess,
Yeah,
and I don't know
I'm sure
if
they were
Keanu was ever
fucking
asked
thrilled about
not
that,
to do it, or
dude.
if he was just like, oh no, Chief, I'm good. He didn't. He just didn't do it. So they had
I'm
a
an
stunt
FBI
double.
agent.
They had a stunt double jump with an actual like slim pack. I guess he had a slim pack, so it doesn't look like he has one. That's like
Yeah.
a stunt double. But when they were like close together, they were just hanging. They had like these huge.
Is it like a wind
Huge,
tunnel? type
yeah,
thing?
huge fans blowing all the wind and stuff, and they're hanging from like a 10-foot crane.
Yeah.
and they have like a stick with the cameras, and they're always like twisting and stuff like that.
So
That must have been crazy to watch.
Did you bring that up because you are bummed that you weren't tied in like free falling with Patrick Swayze in a wind tunnel?
Yeah, I would love to be where
Yeah.
Keanu was.
Just,
I'm watching Dirty Dancing tonight, and
Yeah.
you can't fucking stop me.
no one. I don't think I've ever heard anyone be as aggressive about Dirty Dancing as that line right there.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Anyway, all right.
Anyways,
Well, we should wrap this one up.
yeah, sorry, Jack. Sorry for
No,
Jack,
sorry for
we
ruining
appreciate
your
you
life.
having here.
Hey.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me on. It was great.
You'll
I
be
had, I had a
back.
lot of fun
Don't
talking
worry.
about.
So you guys gonna schedule
talking
for
about
next week?
this.
You guys gonna take over for next week? You gotta.
I think we'll call you
Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
right.
when we
Yeah,
have
we'll
an opening.
coordinate and
Yeah.
we'll see.
Keith is not laughing.
I feel like this is the end of the road. It should be,
Anyway.
honestly.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think the people agree. All right, let's wrap this one up.
All right, Jack. Thanks for coming. You're the man. We'll definitely have you
appreciate
on
it.
soon.
I know. I'd love to come back. Thank you.
Beetlegeist, we might do
Yeah,
something like
that'd
that.
be great.
Where do we go from here? I guess we're done now. Is that-
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, everyone.
I'll see you in the life. See you in the next life, Nick.
You fumbled the fuck out of that line.
I tried though.